Welcome to True North Leadership in the Moral Compass. I'm Jamie Solveig Chorone, and today is the sixth session, Servant Leader and the Philosopher King. And today is also Inauguration Day. Actually, I was even married on this day years ago when I was a BYU student. So this is a special day for me. At the time, I didn't know it was Inauguration Day when I was a BYU student. Just happened to be in between semesters. But today we have Donald Trump being sworn into office, and it's an exciting day for our country. It's like a resurrection of our morals and our values and our traditions, and I'm excited to see what he can bring back to our country. So we're going to discuss the servant leader and the philosopher king, and the five necessary attitudes of the servant leader and how this impacts yourself and your company that can make huge monumental progress. And it has contributed to many other success from Harvard Business Review. This article that we're also going to go over is by Robert Greenleaf, and in his lecture, The Concept of the Servant Leader. And I have added the philosopher king, because as you know, I have studied in depth the philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, Zeno, many Greek philosophies that I hold dear to and hold true to today. Ask yourself, what are your organizational goals? And how can the servant leader accomplish these? In Robert Greenleaf's lecture, he points out 5 different ways that you can be a servant leader. 1 is vision is the beginning of everything. 2, listening and investing time and effort has large returns. 3, commitment to the staff and build up talents and strengths of the team. 4, give away power. 5, be a community builder. The concept of the servant leader is that we serve first and then we lead. Examples of the servant leader during difficult economic times. Think back to the 17th century, 1770 to 1794 of the French Revolution, and the difficult economic crises that the people were encountering then. And that was during the time of King Louis XVI, who was living lavishly. In our art interpretation, we studied last week about George Washington crossing the Delaware as a leader. And he had James Monroe in this boat, James. And then this painting of the French Revolution is similar. It's Lady Liberty, who holds the French flag and is a beacon of light and a pillar of strength for the people. A servant leader will say that we are in this together and address tough times and the need for change, introducing the new vision. Then they build the community where each department comes together out of silos. I wanted to also bring in what I was taught at an early age from my grandfather, whose company was True Serve. I realize how much I admire and love him so much, because here I am doing North Star Moral Compass and following your True North. He was a representative for the True Value. He had his own company and business in the GPNW, the Great Pacific Northwest. And one thing that he would always say is, by their fruits, you can know them. You can have faith. Your faith can be blind. Your faith can move mountains. But there's people who you can see their faith by their works. Let me show you by my works, my faith. And that also brings in the Caswell crest of Omnia Labor Victus, which is hard work always wins. So vision. A vision. Visioning isn't everything, but it's the beginning of everything. And that is by David McAllister. This also means living the values of a team and community. This can be completed by telling stories of who I am and who we are and a future story. Setting clear expectations of members and the high ideals creates a vision. Visions gives hope, dreams, motivate, energize, and aspirations. Leaders will plan with sequential steps. Listening. Through listening, a leader can tell what inspires their desires and concerns are. The leader becomes relatable when they learn and listen about each member and through asking questions. Developing a deep understanding of individual and collective consensuses. There is a 2-to-1 ratio of asking 2 questions to every direct instruction. 3, committed to success of others and building their talents. In the book, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, Maxwell postulates that when a leader makes commitments, they assess the timing, momentum, organizational culture, and potential cost. They investigate talents, resources, and finances to maximize potential. Servant leaders see everyone's unique contribution and help them grow, bringing others to life. Leaders are more nurturing, supporting, and encouraging, and successful leaders also raise successful leaders in Maxwell's law of reproduction. 4, delegating. Servant leaders give away power, giving opportunities for others to contribute to empower the team. This allows for followers to practice power and express their ideas. Applying the law of acceptance, meaning letting them express themselves, henceforth the leader reviews, critically analyzes, and practices judgment. The servant leader is not always the sage on the stage, but the guide on the sidelines as a coach. Building the community. Building the community. Stephen Covey says a servant leader serves others first, not themselves first. A successful leader has a productive community. Leadership is a relationship between those who aspire to lead and those who decide to follow in getting extraordinary things done. Fear and distrust will not ever create a productive community. The servant leaders are committed to building followers up, and this comes with gaining trust and must be earned. Then the servant leader's credibility increases. By utilizing all the strengths of the team in a collaborative effort, builds a safe environment. Maxwell gives the law of the inner circle, and we have discussed a bit of the inner circle as well in the previous session. I might call it the golden circle, or like the Arturian knowledge, the round table, or the cabinet. These are the closest people to the servant leader in the community. The qualities for choosing the inner circle are 1, potential value, positive value, personal value, productive value, proven value. A true leader also creates gathering places for celebrations and milestones that give chance to renew commitments. Servant leaders do not think less of themselves. They just think of themselves less. A servant leader encapsulates what it means when Joseph Campbell says, become a part of something bigger than yourself. In a noble effort, as the French say, noblesse oblige, the noble are obliged to be noble. The servant leader's actions and deeds are gracious, kind, compassionate, charitable, and selfless. Noblesse oblige, as a president, as a king in a principality or a prince, harnessing those traits of nobility and being obliged to be noble in all situations is a part of that duty of a servant leader and a philosopher king. Noblesse oblige. Remember the 3 L's: listen, learn, lead. There are the pure altruistic intentions of a leader for the altruism purpose of the whole. When the leader becomes defrocked or loses their way, the intrinsic motivations can be felt by the followers, if they are genuine or not. There are many examples we can see when leaders lose their way. Usually it is when their morals and actions do not match or line up. For instance, Francis Bacon, a philosopher, teaches us that the true statesman is one that is simple. The statesman that has the rewards being temporal and materialistic will spoil a society. A simple manner women will have their values and virtues on a long-lasting eternal rewards to infinity and beyond. This is why it is crucial for a servant leader to have a clear mission and values outlined. Recognizing one's own values and accepting others is an equalitarian platform. And in the spirit of the Olympic creed of the champion and the winners that embody a servant leader is that it's not in winning that you can tell the character of a true champion, but in the fight. And a noble leader does that. They do not give up. Now, in honor of Inauguration Day, January 20th, Barbato and Wheeler identify servant leadership in 5 dimensions: altruistic calling, emotional healing, wisdom, persuasive mapping, organizational stewardship. PMA, positive mental attitude, is contagious. An attitude of gratitude every morning can shift the night to day. Now, the philosopher king, Marcus Aurelius, who implanted Zeno's philosophy of Stoicism, was a paragon of the servant king. And you might also imagine that King Mosiah in the Book of Mormon was also this. When his men were working, he joined by their side. The most successful leaders are givers first and receive after they give. They believe and know wholeheartedly that in giving, they receive. In recognition of the resurrection of our country, there are times when America has been reborn, such as when we had our Civil War. That was a rebirth under the leadership and tutelage of Abraham Lincoln and Thaddeus Stephen, the attorney who went to Congress and the Senate and got the votes. Incredible men. Attitude is everything and will be contagious. This mindset of a servant leader can transform your company, can transform our country. Employees can feel it. The country can feel it. The nation can feel it. These attitudes can affect behavior and morale. Servant leaders' goal is to empower their people. Serving creates a positive atmosphere, safe environment that adds to the worker's satisfaction and commitment. Serving creates a positive atmosphere, safe environment that adds to the worker's satisfaction and commitment. It also creates a walking among them approach. This is recognized as a scriptorial value, and that Jesus was the perfect example of servant leadership. Mormons will also recognize King Mosiah as another prime example of servant leadership. In what ways can you be a servant leader in your organization? And how can your company build a common vision? Building trust allows the company to believe in their leaders. Listening with empathy and being passionate about building others up gains trust. This builds forward thinking, competency, and inspires in employees. On a personal development style, being a lead employee and manager, adopting this servant leader attitude adds to the ethical moral behavior in any organization and supports positive behavior in a macro and micro level. How can you have a servant leader mindset and help be team player? How will serving your company first create the ideal atmosphere? Now, going back to my wonderful grandparents, my grandmother wrote a poem. I like to write poetry as well, but I'm so moved by this. She wrote it in 2010, before the pandemic, before the crises. And, sometimes our older generation, they're like, what is happening to our country? But this is her poem that she wrote called America No More. And this is why I think now we're going to be having a resurrection of what it means to be American, to be hardworking, to be a leader in our industry and have that entrepreneurial spirit that is very American. So this is by my grandmother, Benicia Caswell. She went by Bunny. We love Grandma Bunny. America no more. Help. My country that I love is dying. Am I still the only one that's crying? Our fathers fought and died for this free land. Now we're too dumb to even take a stand. It's Marcus, that's all the progressives quote. Blind to the beam they center on a moat. For now, to be politically correct, you can't speak for our country or protect. We've let our freedom slip by lazily, asking for more and more so greedily. Healthcare will now be every person's right. Open our borders, we don't need to fight. Give them our food, why should they have to work? Welfare for all while we our duties shirk. Tax the rich, who cares how much they may bleed? The government should meet our every need. Why should we drill for our own precious oil? From other nations we would take their spoil. Interdependence, that's the fateful key that steals away our hard-won liberty. Forgot we've founded on the golden rule, everything's allowed, we learned that in school. And we won't have to answer for our sins. There's no rules now, so everybody wins. Today we know that black is really white. Since God is dead now, wrong is really right. We've thrown away that gift so bravely won, and stupid men won't see what they have done. But there's one way to curb this awful plight. Our leaders must love God and choose the right. We must look back upon our history if we would keep this land that once was free. We must wake up, go down on bended knee. Then men their true aims we will surely see. For God, all their motives he'll uncover. Know the foe, unmask the power lover. While there's still time, go to the polls and vote. Or are we still all blinded by the moat? That is Benicia Caswell in March 2010, my grandmother. And listen to the speech today, an inauguration, pray for a resurrection of our morals, our values, and may our leaders be strong and follow the moral compass and help our country and help our world today. And I look forward to seeing you again in our next session. And stand true. I hope this helped your company, gave you motivation for your business, your vision, your dreams, your family. And I wish you much, much good fortune. Buona fortuna.